So you guys probably already know the answer, but this is a Illinois Everbearing Mulberry. And this is, I don't know, what is this, a 2 gallon, 1 gallon pot? Probably 1 gallon. And I have this big hole. This mulberry fits very nicely inside that giant hole. You might be wondering, why is it in that giant hole? That is because I have a 24-inch in diameter and 24-inch deep gopher cage that this is gonna sit in. So obviously this mulberry is gonna grow very quickly, and this cage is a lot bigger than it needs to be today, but it's big enough for that future growth. So this one is going to be a very high canopy. Gonna let this one grow, not going to prune it back super hard, but these big ass holes are a pain to dig. You can probably tell I'm a little bit out of breath, but it's necessary with all this gopher activity here. All right, so what we're doing here now is, now that I've dug the hole, it's a little bit deeper than this 24-inch deep cage, is I'm putting out a little bit of this mulched compost. It's got 50% mulch, 50% manure, and that's gonna add some nutrients and nitrogen back into the soil. So that way, when the tree grows, there's a little bit more than just this sandy, dead, no organic matter soil. This soil's been dead for years. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in here, which is not ready yet. I'm gonna fill this up a little bit at the bottom. I'm gonna fill the edges around it in this mulch. And then once I plant it, once I get that bottom, maybe 3 to 5 inches at the bottom with this, then I'm gonna put native soil in there. And then once I have everything planted, then I'm gonna put some more of this on top. That way the nutrients soak back in. And then I'm gonna put regular mulch on top of that. So you'll see as I go. I should probably start filling this up with water. Let me go do that. So now what I'm doing is I'm watering. It's not completely filled up, but I want to get this super dry, sandy soil that hasn't had moisture in months. I'm trying to get a little bit of moisture in there. I'm gonna kind of turn it up, get it mixed in, and then eventually, once I get everything planted, I'm gonna water in deeply. But in the meantime, while it's still open, I want to get that moisture down deep into the soil. This dirt is so hydrophobic. Got it buried, we got the gopher cage in. We have this composted mulch manure. Tomorrow morning I'm gonna cover it with some fresh mulch and just make sure it gets watered in really good. It's getting a little late tonight, so we're gonna finish this up in the morning. As you guys saw yesterday, we put the gopher cage in. We added some of this composted mulch in there as a top dressing. We're also going to be adding an actual layer of mulch, a thick, probably 4 to 6 inch layer on top of this. What I'm doing right now is I tapped into that fig tree, the irrigation, ran this 1/2 inch poly line off of it, and I'm going to be putting these drip emitters on it. So first I got to get the little figure 8 on here. Got to put that on, how it closes the loop. I'm going to loop this around, and I'm going to put 4 of these 2 gallons per hour emitters on this. I want a lot more moisture. This area has a lot more sand than a lot of the other soil. So I want to make sure I have at least 4 of these. So 8 gallons per hour is what this tree is going to get. We usually water about twice a week for 2 hours at a time. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Luckily, these emitters have the bar where it's self-piercing. So that's pretty sweet. Pops right in, super easy. Just gonna spread this around, and then eventually I'll add more emitters as this tree gets bigger, and I'll open up this ring a little more as well. tree that we ordered. This is a very tiny little tree, came in a 1 gallon container. One of the things I want to do, since these are starting to wilt, they came shipped tucked in like that. I want to have these tied up and out so that way they actually get their strength and they actually go the direction I want them to go. So I'm actually going to get some bamboo stakes. And I'll actually tie them up the direction I want the branches to grow. That way these become the main scaffolding branches and gets the right shape, so that way they don't grow hard with this angle. This is arborist mulch. As you can see, this mulch is much more heavily leaf litter than it is actual wood chips. So this is going to break down very quickly, which is actually good for the nutrients in the soil. But even though it looks super thick, I mean, this is probably over a foot thick right now, within weeks this will break down and compress to where it's maybe 3 to 4 inches thick at most. So I'll probably have to do another layer at some point of this mulch, but in the meantime, this is going to be great. It's going to hold in a lot of that moisture, especially considering it's sandy soil and it's 100 degrees out. So if you come here a little bit, one thing that you have to make sure, even though you want a lot of mulch around the trunk, you do not want any mulch touching the trunk. You want to make sure that you have 4 to 6 inches around the trunk to be clear of mulch. That way any bacteria, anything like that, is not getting moisture on the trunk and causing diseases and stuff like that. While we were also planting the Illinois Everbearing mulberry, we also got this pineapple guava. So this is that's the guava right over here. It's actually a tropical white guava. This is a feijoa actually, so it's not technically a guava as far as I'm aware, but we have this planted. There was a peach tree here. The gopher got it, so I did have to dig that big ass hole and bury the gopher cage. So that was really fun. Luckily this area had a lot of moisture, so that made things a little easier. But now I have, since I have that composted mulch down here, I'm going to be taking some of that fresh arborist mulch and spread it around here, so that way it just holds moisture even better.